Sit and listen. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Yeah. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. You guys sound beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. What a great way to start this beautiful spring day. I am so glad to see all of you here. I'm Shireen Hill, and if we haven't had an opportunity to connect, I want to welcome those in the virtual sanctuary to go to unitydenver.org and click on New to Unity to fill out a connection card. And if you're here, after the service, stop at our welcome desk. Jill and Marianne are there, and they would love to tell you a little bit about us and give you a connection card to fill out as well. So, don't forget to stay after the service as we honor Natalie, our Director of Youth and Family Services. What? Oh, the slide, we don't have a slide for that one. But anyway, we have a lot of exciting things on the table back there for you to share. There's some awesome wraps that looked so incredible. So make sure you stay for the food, but also for the fellowship, and to send Natalie on in her next adventure in life with all our love and blessings. Okay, so cue the slides. So this is March, in case you hadn't noticed, and March is, the month that we honor women in our lives, but also women of history. So I have a little trivia game real quick, so don't yell out the answer while I'm reading this, because some of us you're going to know the answer. But who am I? I was born in 1845. I aged really well. And as I was growing up, I was really drawn to reading books about topics that really were considered to be strictly for boys. I was one of the first women to attend the Oberlin College in Ohio. And I introduced a hallmark New Thought theology from a feminist perspective. And I am known as the Mother of Unity. Does anybody know who I am? There's even people back in the hallway. Myrtle Fillmore. So she was co-founder of Unity, and I think that's really important to honor the fact that we come from a space of honoring all genders, from inclusivity, and I just found it very interesting that while she co-founded this Unity way back in the 1800s, it really is relevant to today. And even a quote that I found that she said years ago, she said, "I often think that these days we are in too much of a rush really? Trying to do too much and still failing to discern and do the very things that would mean the most. So much that we think and do surely would not be done by one in the Jesus Christ consciousness. So much we think we need could not be desired by one consciousness of the spiritual resource. So it's still a relevant practice even today. So I wanted to celebrate her as being co-founder. So the next thing that I wanted to share with you was that message was brought to you by our spiritually motivated, social engagement team. And this is a team that's formed recently that wants to bring awareness around different things regarding social issues and diversity. And one more thing that the team is planning on March 25th is the movie Girl Rising, which is a documentary about 9 different girls around the world that have followed their heart and their passion to make a difference in the world and really have faced a lot of things that we take for granted here in America. So I invite you to come and be a part of that and stay afterwards for some conversation. Then the next thing I wanted to share with you is something that I read this morning during my prayer and meditation time that I feel is relevant to the next few announcements. I read this. It says, belonging is instinctual for humanity, instilled at the beginning of time when God declared that it is not good for humans to be alone. We naturally find our places of belonging with people who become family in one way or another. As we find welcoming places, we learn to settle into our own souls and come home to self, to God, and to living in community. And this is something I find here personally, and this struck me. And it made me realize that the next few things I wanted to share with you are all relevant to feeling at home, feeling in your place, feeling that you are in community. So the first thing is the Welcome Team training that Trish will be hosting. It's actually next Sunday after service. And this is an opportunity for you to be that person, to welcome people and make people feel at home. And so I want to invite you to come. It's an opportunity to really learn about where are the bathrooms, where is the childcare, and learn about how important it is to welcome people into this church just like you would welcome them into your home. So I invite you to sign up for that. Everything I mentioned will be at unitydenver.org under feature events for you to register. So the next one is the new member class. And so, when you're here, we hope that you're finding your place of belonging and that it's really stirred a desire in you to learn more about our principles and our practices. And so on the 26th is an opportunity to learn from Trish a lot about where we've come from, a little more about Myrtle and how she helped to co-found this the Unity theology, and if you are so inclined, it's a way for you to become a member. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the part in what I read you that says, we naturally find our places of belonging with people who become family in one way or another. And there's a couple of events coming up where we have an opportunity to be part of family. The one here that you see is sponsored by the Red Tent Women's Circle, and anyone in the family of identifying as female or transgender or non-binary or LGBTQ is welcome to come in and be a part of finding that balance in spring equinox, because I know we're waking up in the spring and we're feeling all that energy, but didn't some of you feel a little out of balance losing an hour of sleep? So it's a place to come and find that balance together. And that's actually next Saturday morning at 9:30. The last thing I want to share with you, we don't have a slide for, but that's because we actually have a human being here who will meet you and greet you out in the gathering place and talk to you about practicing the presence. It's still a little way away. It starts April 7th, but it's an opportunity for all who want to be a part of the family coming together and really celebrating and connecting with the divine through singing and prayer and poetry and art and just being in a space, really continuing what you feel here on Sunday morning, only on Thursdays. And I think it goes for 6 weeks after April 7th. But it's being lovingly sponsored by 2 members of our community, Kath Robertson and Joanne Birch. And then one of their co-facilitators is here today. Her name is Kathy Nelson. She'll be at the table. Yes, Kathy, hi. Will be at the table with some flyers and be able to answer some questions. So I think that's about it.
Good morning.
How are you?
Really well.
David planned that exit well, losing an hour of sleep. So if I haven't met you, I want to introduce myself officially as your spiritual leader here this morning. I'm Trish Morris, and it is my honor and privilege to stand before you this morning in that role. And I know we've been working towards that and transition towards that, and today's the day. So thank you for welcoming me. Thanks to all of you who are tuning in online. We're glad that you're here. We know that wherever you are, God is, and so we connect with you energetically as well. And so to that end, I just want to start, as we do each Sunday, grounding ourselves in our creed as we remember the truth that we are teaching and learning and growing into together here. And so I invite you to say that with me this morning. Our God is love, our race is human, our faith is oneness. So we open up to that truth and we settle into that truth as I offer this reading for you this morning from Finding Yourself in Transition by Robert Brummett. Transition may be an uncomfortable time, yet it is always a meaningful time. It is a time when the old order of our life is disrupted. It is a time when our old way of being is disturbed. It may even be a time when our sense of reality is challenged. Though painful, these can be extremely significant times in our life. Times of transition are wonderful opportunities to gain strength and wisdom, opportunities to experience spiritual breakthroughs and healings. Transition may provide the breakthrough necessary to live an entirely different life. Not just the old life in a new way, but a brand new life.
Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
We just drop into our heart space. Just taking a deep breath. invite you to even perhaps put your hand on your heart as you connect with all that lives there. Know that sometimes there is heaviness, grief, and also great joy, connection, and possibility. I know that within each of you, just as I know within me, is a kind and loving heart seeking to connect more fully to its source and to express that source, that divine life, that divine love more fully. And so in connecting with that space within us, where we know that we know the truth of who we are and the truth of what we've come to be, we can relax a bit. We can make some space in our minds and our bodies for that divine presence to be known more fully through us. And as we do that, we tap into a divine order, a divine synergy that is alive within us in all of creation. And so we consciously hold ourselves in all of creation in that space of divine love, divine life, and divine order. Trusting and claiming and living as though all things are indeed working together for good. And for this opportunity to know this and to trust this and to live into this each day, we give great thanks. And so it is. Amen.
Form and hue, who has created all things new, create in me from shapeless clay an instrument on which you play. God of the dance that planets tread, who walks beside and soars ahead, oh, let me move to worship you. Come, Holy Spirit, dance with me. Poet of time, out my life, reshape and mold, and be the artist of my soul. Carve out my life, reshape and mold, and be the artist of my soul.
Maybe you can. Thank you, Lauren. It's good to have you back. Yes. There's a little trouble posting to Facebook. That's all that's happening up here. So I just wanted you to know. So raise your hands if you like change. Now, lower your hands if you've changed your mind. All right. A few of you. Okay, good. Yeah. So, I'm taking us back a bit. Last Sunday, David and I co-hosted a service on new beginnings. Many of you found that to be meaningful. I did as well. And I think it was helpful to sort of, he and I, to have that conversation with you and, share some what did we call it? Celebrations and some mornings and some lessons, what we've learned. And really, though, I've recognized that we're starting with a new beginning without recognizing the full ending. And the other thing about that is, as I was thinking about this book, Finding Yourself in Transition, and finding ourselves in this transition, in some ways it's not all that surprising, although how it came about was a little bit of a surprise for some of us. But in many ways it feels like a lot of things are in transition, right? Do you feel that? Yes, thank you, right. And again, by the show of hands, transition involves change. It involves some endings, and then that weird space in between of what's next, before something actually begins, sort of figuring out what we maybe have outgrown or want to change, not only here, but in our lives and in our systems, in our bigger ways that we gather as communities. And so I wanted to slow that down a little bit and take some time and hope that it will not only support us in having a healthy ending and a strong new beginning, but also I think it helps set a model for healthy ways of transitioning in life. Because if we're honest, there's a slow process of transition and change occurring all the time within us. We tend to have sort of bigger developmental leaps, right, where we might have a transition from adolescence into young adulthood and into perhaps family life, if that's our choice. And then that one that we're, I think, all pretty aware of is that middle life area, where you kind of at the same time recognize that youth as you knew it is behind you, and yet there's this great synergy of life experience and wisdom that comes from not just knowing about little parts of life, but making connections to it all, making a little bigger, having a bigger perspective of it all. But with every new beginning, new phase of life, there is essentially an ending. And so it's not that I'm necessarily wanting to dwell so much on the fact that David Howard has recently left us as our spiritual leader, and I'm in taking his place. Although I think it's healthy to do that. I think it's healthy, as he alluded to, for us to start to consider what are our expectations? What are we doing here as a community? What is church? What does it mean? Why do we do it? What do we want from it? Are we getting that? What are the expectations you may have of me? And how will I know that? And I'll be sure to let you know mine of yours, of you. Got a whole list here? I'm just kidding. But it's good to know, people are asking, what are you going to do? What do you need? And I'm still sort of processing where we are. So the useful part of this finding yourself in transition that I want to walk us through this morning is first of all to recognize the ways in which culturally we're not well supported in knowing how to navigate change and transition. And Brummett talks about us still living under a mechanistic paradigm that really values, productivity and efficiency. It's sort of like the more we can emanate a well-oiled machine, the better. And process in life doesn't usually happen that way. And so when it happens, as it naturally will, we tend to think something's wrong and something's bad's going to happen, and instead of just slowing down, recognizing I'm in a process, right? Some of you may have made up a story, something's wrong, David's leaving, something's wrong. Trish has bullied him out of there. We knew this was going to happen, right? And so to recognize that we're not culturally well supported, and I think we all recognize in various ways how difficult it can be for us to face endings. That comes about particularly when we lose someone that we love, or someone that we love loses someone that they love, and it's hard to know how to support them. It rattles our own discomfort with endings, which we all are ultimately grappling with, right? I mean, at some point, we will all make a transition from this physical plane. And there's part of us that really doesn't want to look at that or deal with that. And that's understandable because it's an unknown, and there's a lot about this experience that we're really attached to and that we love. So, as we consider this idea of ways in which our culture is less attuned to the process of nature and process in general, and more attuned to the clock and the calendar, which, oh no, now is on our cell phone and follows us everywhere. And the news, right? There's all sorts of things that we tune into more than process. And the point, too, that Brummett makes and that I want to make for all of us is that there is a great wealth of information and insight and opportunity for growth if we can stay in the process, slow it down, notice what's coming up for us, be aware of sort of what the places in us that are maybe resisting, that are maybe denying, or that are making meaning in a way that is not conducive to us trusting the process. And so he makes a valid point that we make here all the time, that there is within all of creation, within you and within me, within the life of this center, within the life of our extended communities, there is a divine pattern, a divine order that is working in and through all of that. Doesn't always mean that what happens feels divine. Sometimes it doesn't feel good at all. And I found, as my own development in understanding ministry, for example, people often say, they go to, why did this happen? Why is this happening to me? And of course, I wish I knew. I could try to make something up, but I don't think that's helpful. The truth is, I don't know, but I know that they and you and I have what we need within us to make it through it, and to be open to the good that might be coming through as a result of that, because that's the shift in consciousness. Why is this happening? Why is this bad thing happening to me in our world? Versus what good can come from this? And what can I do to be an instrument of that good? And so I want to walk through a few things that Brummett details for us very nicely. So here's the thing. Let's go ahead and say, okay, we know we're in a transition. We're in a transition in this community. We're in a transition in our country. We're in a transition in our world, I think. And I think that that is because in many ways we've outgrown systems and beliefs that no longer really adequately serve the reality of our life experience. And there's a loss in that because some of our life experience was just wonderful, right? And it was predictable. And we could count on it. And we don't even know exactly what's changed. We're really collectively in this, And there's a real push to, let's get to the new beginning. Let's get back to normal. Let's figure it out. And there's also some fear. If we're talking about unraveling systems, that's going to just lead to utter chaos, right? And the point is, we're not just throwing everything out. We're not just saying the systems all aren't working, what we're doing here isn't working. I'm not saying any of that. We know for ourselves what isn't working in certain ways as we are expanding our understanding of the limits of our systems collectively and individually. What have our beliefs and our misunderstandings sort of kept us sheltered from a little bit, from really knowing? I've had a lot of ahas during these past 2 years of things that I just wasn't aware of. And so we take what works and we leave the rest, right? There's still a foundation. There's a wonderful foundation here. And by the way, I'm not suggesting that next Sunday all hell's going to break loose. I'm going to change up everything. I'm going to make you sit different places. I already tried that a few years ago, and some of you are still resentful. Some of you have never gone back to your same seat, though, so that worked out. So yeah, I'm not suggesting that we or collectively everything is, got to be gotten rid of necessarily, but to really take time and we can do this collectively as a community and model that for each other. And I do hope and trust that it would also be a model for all the transitions that I know you're going to go through if you're not in one right now. And so the pattern is this. There's the ending, then there's that neutrality or the void. Ooh, that sounds fun. And then the new beginning. And so Brummett says this, that we live within a mechanistic orientation to life, one that tends to see endings, especially unexpected ones, as a breakdown, as something gone wrong. An unexpected ending may trigger our anxiety about the unpredictability of life. It may create a sense of being out of control and vulnerable to the apparent random events that impact and shape our lives. An unexpected ending does not fit into our vision of life functioning as a well-oiled machine that we personally operate. Does that resonate a little bit? Yeah, it's a sort of that lack of control, that lack of knowing. And so this is another thing to consider, that we don't like endings and we avoid the emotions that go with them, typically. So often we're inclined to underestimate the impact of an ending and find ways to avoid or deny the feelings that we have about that and just get moving on. Or we overstate an ending. We give it too much weight. So we feel as though an ending is the finale. No, that's it. I'm over. That's all. No more. I'm never dating again. I'm never going to a church again. Whatever that is, it's something is ended, and that is the end for you of that, which also is cutting you off from the fullness of life. You're still cutting short that process. And so that is an opportunity, if that feels like something that resonates with you, if you really take endings to heart and maybe just navigate totally away from that opportunity again, to recognize that your value, your worth, your meaning is not ultimately the result of that experience. It may shape it, right? It may help for you to know deeper meaning, but your meaning exists outside of that person, that relationship, that job, that whatever that is that has ended, that might make you want to shut down. And it's important to know too that, he makes a good point, that losing people that we love is is a permanent experience. We have lost them in the physical realm. And did you see my thought just leave my head like that? It was a really good one, too. Yes, and so we take that loss, that the physical presence, the loss of that is final, and we do process that in that capacity. And we also know that the connection and the meaning of the relationship continues with us as we move through life. What we shared together, how we grew together, it remains with us. So in that way, we can continue to be open to love, open to connection, open to the possibility that life presents without shutting down to connection, because we know that inevitably we may lose someone. So the other thing that we do is underestimate the endings. And that is really, we try to avoid them because in large part they scare us. And why is that? I'm going to wait. I'm serious. Why do you think, can you relate to the fact that endings scare you? Can you feel why? What comes up? Shout it out. There's no wrong answer. Fear. Unknown. What's next? Mistrust. Who you're hurting? Caring.
Loneliness.
Amen.
Yeah. Anger. I'm going to have to get you microphones so I can hear you. Love scares us. Knowing you have to change. New love. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Okay, slow down. Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot. And you can see that is pushing up against some things that are worth looking at. That when we don't look at them, they're still there. And our attempts to sort of maneuver things to look more permanent, or to feel more permanent, or to feel like we're in control, or to feel like we know, really don't make those experiences subside, in my experience. And so again, to stick with that, and I've been there, I probably am there, to be truthful. What's in there? Why am I so afraid? Why do I need to know? Why? And the truth is that this is where our spiritual knowing comes into place. Because we say, and this is where we're called into action about this, we believe that there's one power, one presence at work in the universe and in our lives. God, by whatever name we call that, and the nature of that source is good. Now, good has always bothered me. I'll get to that in another lesson, because it doesn't seem to quite captivate what we're thinking about when we think about the allness of God, the fullness of God. But the point is that there's no energetic energy at battle with God, that we trust that there is a creative life force at work in and through our lives and all of creation. Well, why do bad things happen? Because people don't know that they are an expression of that, and they don't know the power of their life force to create things. And think of yourself. Have you created everything that you wanted? Have you ever created something you really wished you hadn't? Really got you upside down it's the same process. It's just we're not necessarily using it for the fullness of our betterment or the goodness of all, right? We're limiting our capacity. And we're creating from a limited understanding of what we're even capable of. And I think that's the edge that we're on right now, that this transformation that we're coming up against is just recognizing some of the ways in which we've we've been individually and collectively and systematically all the ways that are now limiting us. And we are not, those systems and those beliefs should be of service to us, not limiting us. And so it's a huge opening, it's a huge possibility. It's a time of great creativity. And I know it's scary. And the thing is, if we can believe and we can trust in what I've just said about that first principle, that energy, that source energy that is embedded in all of creation and is expressing through each of us, has a purpose and a plan, and ours is to align with it and be it and trust it. Even in the face of great fear, of great unknown, of uncertainty, it's not really the best time to disengage and to get disenchanted. I know it's tempting. We'll get to that next week. Next week are the 4 disses. Disenchantment. No, I don't know them because it's next week. Disengagement, disidentification, disenchantment, and disorientation. And so I'm going to have to realize that I, over the years, have started talking too much because it's my time is nearly up and we have some celebrations to do. But my point and my invitation for you is to recognize and to honor the process that is being demonstrated in this community and that is really calling us all into a time of transformation, I think, socially and globally, and to take fuller responsibility of how we want that to look, even though we don't quite know. I think that individually we do all have gifts to give and understanding that we bring to the equation in however that looks for you. And I want to invite you to continue to explore as you contemplate the transition here. What's alive for you around that? If you are, were you hoping that everything would be different today? And what's this? This feels the same. And let's have a rock band. I know some of you are not thinking that. Right. But just notice where you are in that and take some time, as David invited us all to really explore your expectations and perhaps your disappointments. And, because here's the thing. Oh, this is too important. I got to go back. Darn it. I knew I should have shortened this. There's a really good example. Are you up for it? Okay. Phew. I got to find the exact line and then I can give you the example. Here we go. It often is not the new beginning that accounts for the confusion we feel, but rather the termination or the end of our old lives or former ways of being. And I think this is really important for us as a community because we could start off with some great plans for a new beginning. And if we haven't handled our ending appropriately, then all of a sudden we're in the new beginning and things aren't feeling good. Things aren't feeling right. And this is a great example that he tells. This is actually from Mr. Bridges. I'm going to call him Mr. Bridges. Transitions. He wrote the book Transition. Jeff Bridges. He had a woman in his transition group. He would hold groups for people in transitions. And she was a new mom for the first time, and she just kept proclaiming, "I am falling apart, and people are trying to help me, and I got help. I just can't. I'm telling you, I can't. I don't know if I can do this." And with some work, he got her to realize, and she said, we talked about this, we planned for this, we wanted to start a family, I was ready to have a baby. It's not that I don't want the baby, I'm just unraveling. And he got her to realize that in a very real way, she was unraveling. And that was because she hadn't quite anticipated the loss of her independence, of her freedom, of her sleep, right? All of these things that she just hadn't seen that as an ending for her. Even though she was ready for the new beginning, there were some parts of her independent life that were effectively, maybe not gone, but certainly modified. And so the help that she was trying to get to help with the new beginning really wasn't addressing the grief that she was feeling. And as soon as she sort of dealt with that and owned that and had some space for that, she could move more healthily into the experience of the new beginning with her baby, which she wasn't like, put it back, I don't want it, right? She knew that. Does that make sense? I think it's really poignant for us, because I'm tempted too to let's go. What are we going to do together? I've got this vision. And I want to really honor where we've been and what might be needing to be healed. And, it occurred to me, how many of you were here when Jim Lewis was here? Anybody? OMG, yeah. So that Jim made his transition, I think, in 1995. And he was here for probably nearly 30 years, master teacher. And he made a transition that was untimely and unexpected. And I have no doubt that there could be some lingering grief from that. Now you say, come on, I'm not walking around saying something, I shouldn't talk like that. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying, again, from the things that I've told you about our culture and our inherent sort of resistance, I have no idea what happened here after that, after he passed, and what transitional work happened, right? But I would imagine that there's some grief. There was some grief, and might be some still that hasn't just really we held the space for. I'm not knowing that we will do that, but I'm prompting all of you to be aware of all the ways that unresolved grief track us around. And for your own health and your own sake, in life in general, as you experience endings, to find a healthy way to hold that, to not rush it, to not think that something's wrong with you. And how, as we do that, we can really be available to help and love and support each other more fully, because life is a constant transition as I'm seeing it. And so we know that nothing's wrong. We hold that there is divine order at work, and that we are an instrument of it as we tune into it. And so I've talked a lot. I'm going to take us into a time of meditation for you to just take a breath. I have changed it up. We're not going to have piano, so don't be alarmed. I've asked for that. So just invite you to take a deep breath, connecting with all that I've said about endings and about grieving and about holding the space for that, and recognizing how we may not always do that work and how it might follow us into our next expressions. And so just connect with whatever is on your heart and in your mind about that. Noticing any resistance or any feeling of judgment. And just letting that be. And just leaning into this awareness that there is a purpose behind all of transitions, all of life. Endings and new beginnings. And just find a place in your heart to allow what is there for you to be with compassion, with understanding. Really connecting with that light that lives in your very being, that does in fact shine for you anytime you look in that direction. guiding you, supporting you. We trust that there is that within us that knows explicitly who we've come to be and how to go about being it. And so we open up to life's transitions as part of that becoming. And as we come back to this time and space, I invite you to continue to stay connected with that as you move through your week. Becoming aware of what may be ready to be released. In this experience and in any experience you may be having, that you may move forward more freely and fully. Trusting and knowing that indeed all is well.
I am open to my good right now. I am open to my good. I am open to my good right now. I am open to my good. I am open to my good. I am thankful for my good right now. I am thankful for my good. I am thankful for my good right now. I am thankful for my good. I am thankful for my good.
So there is something that's new that we're going to start. Let's see if I can keep up with it. You have homework. I have printed them out. Next week I'll be ready. I'll have it on the screen or so forth. But I've printed it out there in the baskets on your way out. And I'm going to be doing this. I hope you will do it, to take this into your week, to really identify a transition in your life right now and get clear around how that's working in and through your experience. So take some time with that. And also on your way out, I put some Release and Renew Lenten booklets from Unity out. Feel free to take one of those. It's already started, but you can catch up. And they're great readings, great daily readings to consider. Releasing and renewing is the theme for this year's Lenten booklet. So help yourself to one of those when you leave. Now is the time in our service where we give of our good to the work of this ministry. And I know many of you do that online. For those of you who are watching online, thank you for doing that. There are ways you can do it digitally on your screen. Many of you do that here as well. So thank you for that. We're considering starting passing the baskets again. So we stopped that, but we might do it again. We're going to go a little old school on you. But for now, there are baskets in the back, so as you leave, you're welcome to drop your checks and cash in there. And we thank you for your ongoing love and support of this community. We would not be flourishing without it, so thank you. So together, let's affirm our love offering blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am thankful.
on to love, hold on to truth, look for the good and then praise it. Dance in the light, turn away from the dark. Hold on to love. With all the pain and devastation every day, it's so easy to give up and close down. How do I keep my heart open and alive when a part of me is scared to reach out my hand? But I don't want to wake up and face each day with fear. No, I want to live a life that's purpose and is clear. So I'm gonna hold on to love, gonna hold on to truth, gonna look for the good and then praise it. Dance in the light, turn away from the dark. Hold on to love. Hold on to love. Every day I have a choice of how I want to live, and I refuse to let all the bad news affect me. I'm gonna take the time to look a stranger in the eye. I'm gonna smile at someone and reach out my hand, 'cause it's the little things that make us feel connected. It's the little things that let us know we are one. So I'm gonna hold on to love. Can you guys clap? Hold on to truth. Gonna look for the good and then praise it. Gonna reach for the light, turn away from the dark, and hold on. Hold on to love. Hold on to love. That's perfect. Keep that going underneath this bridge, okay? I need you guys. I gotta keep believing that people are good. That's right. I gotta keep believing we're here for each other. I gotta keep believing there is a higher plan and God's in charge. We just need to give all the love that we can. We got to hold on to love. Can you guys stand? Hold on to truth. Gonna look for the good and then praise it. Dance in the light, turn away from the dark. Hold on to love. Yes, hold on to love. Hold on to love. Yes, hold on to love. You guys made that perfect. Oh, thank you. Oh, I loved it. Guys gotta come in every Sunday.
Right? You can have a seat. We have a little special time. We're not quite done. Yeah, let me rephrase that. I'm supposed to use I statements. Nothing makes me want to do better at transitions and health and making the best of what we can do together than seeing you all up here. You're our future, so get ready. We've got some stuff for you to do, even though you have a mustache on this morning. So many of you should know, we've been talking about it, and it was in your newsletter that I know you read, that today is Natalie Simon's last day with us. as the Youth and Family Ministry Director. And so we are taking some time to honor her and her time with us, all that she has brought. And I have a few people that wanted to say a few things to that end. Parents of 2 of our children and one, well, they're both parents, and one's I guess you're both teachers, really, now that I put it all together. Yes, Allie Flynn, come on up. Oh, yeah, sure. So I've just asked them to say a few words before I speak on Natalie's behalf about their experience with her in the children's garden.
My name is Allie Flynn, and I started here almost exactly the same time that Natalie took over as youth director, so I've had the pleasure of watching her on her journey from the beginning till the end. At the same time, I also decided to volunteer in the children's garden, and it's been a great opportunity to meet more church members and the kids. I was immediately impressed with Natalie's knack for teaching kids. She makes it look so easy. And it isn't. My kiddos right here, Jillian and Arthur, are 8 and 6, and they love coming every week. I can't even tell you what an impact that these spiritual teachings have had on their lives and our lives as a family. A few examples are that they're in tune to the calming techniques that Natalie has taught them. And they even use them at home. I wish that they would use them more often sometimes, but at least they try. And they understand what it means to have a light inside of them and how to make it shine brighter and brighter. They identify getting rid of that stinking thinking, that they even use that term. They know what it means, and they try to create positive thinking. And that's just naming a few. I could go on and on. But equally important, as a parent, over the past few years, I have taken away my own lessons from the children's garden. Natalie's sweet, fun, calm, and centered approach to teaching and parenting has helped start me on the right foot every week. So as we send her off to her next chapter, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for showing me how to be a more spiritually minded parent. And on behalf of all the kids of the Children's Garden, thank you for helping the next generation of kiddos develop what is, in my opinion, the most important set of skills they will ever acquire. That is how to use their intuition and spiritual guidance to navigate our ever-changing world. Good luck, Natalie, and we love you.
Ditto. Am I done?
Jessica.
I mean, that was beautiful. That summed up so much of what I wanted to say. So I would just add that, Natalie is one of the people that lives and breathes unity. It's part of her all the time in every interaction she does, and that's something that I'm constantly trying to emulate. She's better at it. She grew up with it, and I didn't. So call out to Jackie for that. But when I'm trying to parent my kids, I know I can't teach them everything because I don't know everything. And so having people like Natalie in my kids' lives is so, so important. So anyway, Natalie, I hope that even when you're not working at Unity, you still are involved in this community. And especially you and your beautiful family. I want to see Caitlin. Caitlin and Sammy are such good friends, and I want that to continue. So don't go too far. Thank you.
Yes, very, very nicely said. I would echo that as well, and I knew it would come very applicably from the parents that you have been supporting through really a challenging time in all of our lives. And this is the reason why this program is so valuable, why we are committed to reimagining what we can do to grow it and keep it alive, because it serves the world in meaningful ways. And so for all that you have done, Natalie, to do that, to play your part in that, I greatly thank you. I have great confidence in you as a teacher, if that's indeed what you decide to go forward, because I've seen, just as you both said, your amazing skills with children that are so grounded in love and compassion and connection, and they will serve you well, just as you have served them so well here. So we thank you very, very much for that. And I know that there is a video that has been prepared. It's not quite as long as last week, but there is a video that we'd like to play in tribute, and I think Natalie's response to us will be in that as well. So thank you, Elle.
My name is Natalie, and I just want to take a minute to thank you all for the support that you've given me, for the ways that you've helped me learn, for the ways that you've helped me grow. I would not be here without all of you, without the staff that I got to work alongside with and learn from the congregation, who, you know, you guys just show up and you support this program, and the council and the families. We have amazing families here, and we have parents who are committed to their kids' growth and their kids' spirituality, and committed to supporting their family along their spiritual journey. And we have kids who show up, who walk in the door, who smile and laugh and make these connections and say things that adults and everyone get to learn from, and that I get to learn from, and that that everyone should really be reminded of. And so I want to especially thank the kids. You all have taught me so much, more than you will ever know. And it has been one of the greatest joys and my honor and pleasure to watch you grow, to watch you learn, and to watch you become the amazing people that you are, and shine your light in ways that are unimaginable. And I will miss you. And I know that you will go on to do absolutely incredible things that are just a dream right now, that you have the tools to accomplish in ways that no one can show or tell you, other than your guidance and other than listening to that still small voice inside of you. We've stayed connected over the last couple years in ways that we just got to work with, through videos, through phone calls, through texts with parents, but especially with the kids through videos. So let's take a look back about that time and the things that we have laughed about, the things that we've cried about, the things that have been easy, the things that have been hard. Let's take a look back. So I just lit the Christ candle, which represents, the light of God in each and every one of us. Let's say that together. The Christ candle represents the light of God in each and every one of us. So today, we are talking about understanding. Yes, So there's a couple different types of understanding. There's intellectual understanding and spiritual understanding. So let's take a look at what happens when we use those different things, okay? Let's see, this next one says just copy other people. What do you think? Just copying other people? Oh, I want to copy you, copy you. Hey neighbor, I'm gonna copy you. You think that's creative? No, I don't think so either. You all are way more creative than that. Ready? Here we go. Stomp it out. Get rid of that one. Ugh. Remember, we're not in our head, we're in our heart right now. Just draw how you feel. There's no right or wrong here. We're just coming from our heart. And breathe out. Today, I am grateful for walks outside. I got to take a wonderful walk this morning. I'm also grateful for all of the helpers in the world, the doctors, the nurses, all of our police officers, the trash people, all of those helpers. I'm just so grateful that we have those big helpers in the world. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Say it with me. Ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. All right. We're going to practice some laughter yoga. And you can do laughter yoga anywhere you would like. All sorts of places. In the kitchen. In church. In your car. Outside. Or we can just go back in the children's garden. So now, let's see what happens when we add in a little bit of excitement, living our life with zeal, bringing zeal into those jobs that are like, You could make a game out of it. That would be living with zeal. Let's see what happens. Wow! When we live our life with zeal and enthusiasm, sometimes it doesn't always sound loud. It's like, I don't hear anything. Sometimes it does. Sometimes, like, when you're outside playing or just super excited. But what we really see is when we live with zeal and enthusiasm, our life changes. It just explodes into this joy, into this excitement. Isn't that so cool? Look, it just keeps going. It's amazing. Blowing in front of your fingers. Did you get that sound, that washing machine sound? And then we settled back and had a cup of Christmas tea. The end. Merry Christmas. Love from me. So we're gonna end in a giant air hug. Ready? Take your right hand and put it on your left shoulder, and take your left hand and put it on your right shoulder. Feel all that love, all that joy, and on the count of 3, we're just gonna send this out to each other. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Have a great week.
Stand up real quick.
So while you're standing, let's just give Natalie, if you just face everyone, we'll give you our unity blessing that hopefully we remember from last week. I can say it first. Well, just, you know it. Natalie, we love you, we bless you, and we truly appreciate you. And we behold the Christ you are. Namaste. Thank you for all that you've done. I told you she was like a female Mr. Rogers. It's amazing. Those are amazing. Thank you. Just a reminder, we will be sharing fellowship in Natalie's honor today, so stick around, give her your well wishes, and enjoy some food with us. Thank you. And let's go ahead and do our closing song. Yeah.
Love can move the world as the moon in the sky moves the sea. Love can cause the wars to cease. Love can move this world to peace. It's a tide that begins